Fyodor Dostoevsky is widely considered one of the greatest novelists in literary history. His fiction is profoundly insightful into the workings of human psychology, especially in its entanglement with social and political forces of the modern age. As such, he is equally respected as a philosopher and psychologist. His work challenges how well we understand ourselves, what we truly desire, and how we attempt to pursue those desires, along with the repercussions of chasing illusions or unreachable ideals. His observations and cautionary messages, both personal and societal, were not only far ahead of their time, but arguably remain largely unheeded and deeply relevant today. Early life. Dostoevsky was born in 1821 in Moscow, Russia, into a well-off Orthodox Christian household. His father, a successful doctor, had the family residing on hospital grounds. During Dostoevsky's teenage years, his mother died of tuberculosis. While he was away studying engineering, his father also passed under mysterious circumstances, possibly murdered by his own serfs in retaliation for alleged abuse. This combination of early exposure to illness, strong religious upbringing, and the traumatic deaths of both parents, particularly the unresolved nature of his father's demise, likely laid the emotional groundwork for Dostoevsky's unique and tragic literary voice. After graduating from a military engineering institute, Dostoevsky worked as an engineer. However, his growing interest in literature led him to begin translating books. This passion quickly eclipsed his engineering career, prompting him to leave the field entirely to pursue writing. His debut novel, Poor Folk, was published in 1846. The book received immediate acclaim and was recognized as Russia's first social novel. But the success was short-lived. His next few works failed to resonate, leaving him financially unstable and creatively struggling. By 1847, partly due to his financial woes, Dostoevsky joined a group of radical intellectuals advocating for utopian socialism. This affiliation led to his arrest in 1849 as the government cracked down on such movements. Sentenced to death by firing squad, he faced execution on December 22nd of that year. Standing before the rifles, moments from death, a last-minute reprieve arrived. His sentence had been commuted. The entire ordeal had been a mock execution, intended as psychological punishment. Following this, Dostoevsky was exiled to Siberia for 4 years of hard labor under brutal conditions. He returned in 1860, profoundly changed. His later writings reflected a deeper tone of realism, spiritual inquiry, and psychological depth. Disillusioned with utopian ideals, he now focused inward, exploring the soul and psyche. Over the next 2 decades, until his death from lung complications in 1881, Dostoevsky created a series of literary masterpieces: Notes from Underground, Crime and Punishment, The Idiot, Demons, and the Brothers Karamazov works, still considered essential to world literature. A key theme that threads through much of his writing is the nature of human suffering, its inevitability, and the ways in which people attempt and fail to eliminate it. His concern lay especially in how societies, having lost their spiritual bearings, tried to replace faith with rationality and technological advancement in pursuit of utopia. Notes from Underground. Published in 1864, Notes from Underground directly critiques Western ideals of reason and progress as paths to happiness and virtue. The story is told through the fragmented diary of an unnamed ex-civil servant, often called the underground man, who is bitter, disillusioned, and deeply alienated. He loathes others and their self-deceptions and seeks to shatter their illusions by confronting them with harsh truths. Dostoevsky argues that suffering is intrinsic to human life. It runs so deep that no social or material condition can fully remove it. Progress may shift the sources of suffering, but it can never eradicate suffering itself. Man only likes to count his troubles. He doesn't calculate his happiness, Dostoevsky once wrote. Because of this, he believed that striving for a flawless society would always fall short. Through The Underground Man, he warns against chasing idealistic dreams within frameworks rooted in nihilism, rationalism, and egoism worldviews that reject transcendent meaning and place all moral authority in human reason and self-interest. Dostoevsky saw this as a path to destruction, especially given humanity's irrational nature and the absence of religious faith. He proposed that as one problem is solved, others emerge often more complex and harmful. This doesn't mean progress is inherently bad, but it must acknowledge the limitations of human nature. Otherwise, efforts to perfect life may backfire. In Notes from Underground, Dostoevsky writes, "Shower upon him every earthly blessing. Give him economic prosperity. And even then, out of sheer spite, man will play you some nasty trick. Just to prove to himself that he is still a man and not the keys of a piano." Dostoevsky believed that people crave autonomy more than happiness. Even in a perfectly designed world, humans would choose chaos over living as predictable machines. We say we want happiness, yet we sabotage it. Our thoughts claim one thing, but our actions often show the opposite. We misjudge ourselves, and when we do see the truth, we resist it. Crime and punishment in Crime and Punishment. Dostoevsky delves deeper into this disconnect between self-image and reality. The novel follows Rodion Raskolnikov, a destitute former law student in St. Petersburg. His family makes significant sacrifices for his future. His sister even agrees to marry a wealthy man for his sake. Instead of gratitude, Raskolnikov feels shame and frustration. Influenced by nihilistic and rationalist views, Raskolnikov convinces himself that moral actions are those that maximize societal good. He believes he has the right, perhaps even the obligation, to kill a greedy pawnbroker and use her money for nobler purposes. He could help his family, resume his education, and ultimately do good in the world. He sees himself as a superior individual, above conventional morality. So he murders the woman and her innocent half-sister, who stumbles upon the scene. Yet, far from feeling justified, Raskolnikov becomes consumed by guilt and mental anguish. He realizes he is not the man he imagined himself to be. Ultimately, he turns himself in, hoping to find peace before losing his sanity. Through Raskolnikov's collapse, Dostoevsky dismantles the idea that reason and self-interest can defy morality. Even with a logical motive, the act of murder remains morally and spiritually corrupt. Once again, Dostoevsky critiques ideology's nihilism, rationalism, egoism that place trust solely in individual reasoning. Like Notes from Underground, this novel examines the complexity of the human mind. We often misinterpret ourselves, and our understanding of others is even more flawed. Dostoevsky portrays Raskolnikov as both a murderer and a sympathetic figure, conflicted, lost, and painfully human. Our minds are layered and inconsistent, constantly in tension with our environments and unconscious drives. No one is entirely separate from those they condemn. In everyone exists a shared potential for darkness and possibly for light. We don't truly know ourselves. We chase illusions, dread what we truly desire, and misplace our faith in religion, in idealism, in science, in technology. Dostoevsky argued that these, while meaningful, cannot save us. Yet, Crime and Punishment doesn't end in despair. Raskolnikov, sentenced to just 8 years in prison, begins to change. His future is left open, hinting that Dostoevsky believed in the possibility of redemption through suffering, humility, compassion, and spiritual renewal. Redemption, although Dostoevsky's works are often dark, they also contain a faint glimmer of hope. In The Idiot, the main character, Prince Mishkin, reflects aspects of Dostoevsky himself. At one point, Mishkin tells a story of a man facing execution nearly identical to Dostoevsky's real-life experience. He had 5 minutes left to live. He looked at the cathedral dome in the sunlight and thought, what if I were not to die? What if life were given back to me? What infinity? I'd cherish every minute. That overwhelming fear of imminent death made life's beauty excruciating to behold. The man is so overcome by the awareness of what he's about to lose that he almost prefers death over enduring such painful realization. Dostoevsky suggests that while life is tragic and suffering is inescapable, the awareness of life's fragility can make it profoundly meaningful. His stories don't promise salvation, but they do hint at the possibility of transformation. Whether or not we agree with him, Dostoevsky's powerful insights and timeless literature urge us to look more honestly at ourselves and maybe even see the fleeting beauty in doing so while we still can.